We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Israel rescues 4 hostages. Conservatives win big in Europe. A teachers' union publishes a pro-Hamas playbook. A new green benefit to fracking, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Israel's military rescued 4 hostages held in the central Gaza Strip on Saturday morning in a complex daytime operation that jolted ceasefire talks, reshaped Israeli politics, and resulted in scores of Palestinian casualties. The 4 were held in 2 separate locations in the heart of the Nuseirat section of Gaza, the military said, after being kidnapped from a musical festival in Israel on October 7th. Noah Argamani, 26, who was rescued in Saturday's operation, was seen in one of the first images of the Hamas-led raid into southern Israel as a clip of her kidnapping circulated on social media. In a single hours-long effort, Israel rescued more hostages alive than it had during the entire previous 8 months of the war, bringing the total freed by military operations to 7. The result was an immediate boost for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, whose chief rival, Benny Gantz, announced his resignation from the wartime unity government. The raid immediately threw a cloud over a Biden administration push to strike a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas that would free the remaining 116 hostages abducted in October and a number of Palestinian prisoners. The hostages have been held captive by so-called civilians and kept in private homes. A man wearing a Hamas headband held up a bloody face mask depicting President Biden on Saturday amid an anti-Israel protest outside the White House. The man and others wearing similar headbands shouted, "Down, down, occupation," while another man lit an American flag on fire and others flew Palestinian flags. Other agitators at the demonstration threw objects at a National Park Service ranger, shouting "Piggy, piggy" at him, and defaced statues in Washington, D.C. Holding signs that accused Biden of being on the wrong side of history, protesters converged on the White House Saturday morning after security measures at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue were tightened in anticipation of the planned demonstration. The son of a Hamas co-founder expressed shock and dismay at college protesters he sees as misguided and misinformed about the issues. They found an angry cause, and this is very dangerous to advocate on behalf of something they don't understand, Mossab Hassan Youssef, known as the Green Prince, said in an interview. They are not helping the situation, they are just making it worse. Youssef, who was in Manhattan to address the Jerusalem Post-New York conference, is the eldest son of Hamas co-founder Sheikh Hassan Youssef. The son defected to Israel in 1997 and worked as an undercover agent for a decade before moving to the United States. French President Emmanuel Macron sent shockwaves across France when he announced he would dissolve the country's parliament and hold fresh elections in a few weeks. In the European Parliament vote revealed last night, Macron's party was routed by Marine Le Pen's far-right party, showing that voters are dissatisfied with France's status quo. Macron wasn't Europe's only governing party to lick its wounds. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's Social Democrats posted their worst result ever in another rebuke of the political mainstream. Democratic strategist James Carville demanded more slanted media coverage of Donald Trump during his podcast on Thursday and called out the executive editor of the New York Times for saying the paper intended to cover the full range of issues in the presidential campaign, not just those favorable to one side. Now you have Joe Kahn, the new editor or publisher, whatever he is at the New York Times, saying, "We're just got to cover this down the middle. We're going to cover what it is." I don't think that's the role of news media at a time when the entire Constitution is at peril, Carville said during his Politics War Room podcast, which was first reported by the Daily Caller. I don't have anything against slanted coverage. I really don't. I would have something against it at most other times in American history, but not right now. F your objectivity. The real objectivity in this country right now is we're either going to have a constitution or we're not, Carville said. Kahn pushed back on the idea the media needed to abandon its central role as a source of impartial information because Democrats want people to believe Trump is a threat to democracy during an interview with Semaphore in May. He said it wasn't the job of the Times to become an instrument of the Biden campaign. A teachers' union that represents employees in the Portland public schools released a guide on how to teach anti-Israel views in schools. Oregon Educators for Palestine, in association with the Portland Association of Teachers, released the handbook titled Know Your Rights, Teaching and Organizing for Palestine Within Portland Public Schools, allegedly in response to teachers being censored and facing discrimination and harassment at the hands of PPS district leadership for their anti-Semitic views. The handbook alleges that teachers were censored for teaching about Palestine, posting pro-Hamas sentiments in schools, and even those wearing pro-Palestine messages. The discovery of the potential for thousands of tons of lithium to be extracted annually from wastewater generated by fracking in the Marcellus Shale leaves proponents of a green energy future at a crossroads. A University of Pittsburgh study suggested processing byproducts from natural gas production in Pennsylvania's Marcellus Shale Basin could potentially meet nearly half of U.S. lithium needs. The typical electric vehicle requires nearly 18 pounds of lithium to power its battery. That figure grows exponentially for Teslas, according to reports. Representative Guy Reschler of Pennsylvania, who represents much of the Marcellus territory, told Fox News he wants to see those on the left change their tune. Now nearly 40% of our nation's domestic need for lithium can be found right here as a byproduct of fracking, he said. I fully expect every single Democrat to join Republicans in supporting domestic natural gas development. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.